So, what would happen if you went all in on the gift that God gave to you? What would happen if you gave everything you had to show up as the person you felt like you were designed to be? That, my friend, is what I believe is called a profession. That's what happens when we actually function from design. And the magic that comes from that is earth shattering, atom splitting, breathtaking. It is awesome. Last night, I was with, there was an event that I went to, and I got to speak to a person who said he wanted something, but the reality was, is he really didn't. This person was amazing at sales, maybe one of the best that I've met, definitely one of the best that I've met. He makes over $1 million a year just by selling. It's pretty good. And his question to me was like, hey, how do I grow it? I want to grow a team. I want to stop selling and I want to grow a team. And my question to him is like, are you sure about that? Some of the worst things that I've ever seen someone do is actually to go from being professional at sales to trying to become some sort of leader. And the reason why we do this oftentimes, I think it's because it's like the natural progression, right? It's what I'm supposed to do. And here I am in that moment where this guy is saying, well, this is what I should be doing, right? And my question is, I don't know. Well, like, is it? Is that really what you want? I remember someone a few months ago asked me this, and it just stayed in my mind. Like, I don't know. I feel like I'm supposed to be doing this, or maybe I'm supposed to be doing that. And they were trying to figure out what I think they would have called the will of God, or doing what they felt like they needed to be doing or were supposed to be doing. And I'm going to ask you and ask me. I've asked that question. What am I supposed to be doing? What am I supposed to be doing? And I think the answer is, it depends on who is doing this opposing. Who's doing this opposing? Are you the one that's allowed to suppose what you are? What is suppose? It's to put something in place. It's to pose. There's the word pose is a part of that. And so who does the supposing? Is it us, or is it some entity floating in the ether? I'm a Christian. I believe that there is a creator that is floating in the ether, but I don't think that it's there. Personally, and you may agree with me and may disagree, I believe that there was left something, that there is the Christ within, meaning that our instruction isn't out here, that we're supposed to go find it. We don't have to climb some mountain or go into some forest or go to the depths of the ocean to go retrieve this message so that we can live it. Actually, that word is very near to us. It's in our hearts. It's in our DNA. It's in our makeup. And so when you ask the question, what am I supposed to be doing? How about you stop for a moment and you become the supposer? How about instead of waiting for some sort of instruction to come from some outside source, which is what happened all through your life, how about if you took charge of that? How about if you became a co-creator of your journey? Co-creation. Ooh, that's something to think about. Maybe we'll come back to that in a moment. But there is powerful instruction in your design and in my design. There is instruction. Think about this. Like, it's only been in the last 10 or 15, 20 years, whatever, that they've cracked the code of genetics, right? We understand that this protein sequence is actually a code that every cell in our entire body can follow so that we look a certain way, so that certain things happen in our lives. Like, think about just the complex scientific coding that there is. If that's the case for you physically, might that be the case also for you mentally, spiritually? Might there be a design, and this is my question, might there be a design for you professionally? I think yes. I think yes. I think that we were made in a way where by nature and sometimes by nurture, we have certain gifts and talents that we're able to enter into the marketplace and win with. I want to talk to you about what it is to be a professional. And I think that it's found in that code. A part of it is the code of who you are. And a part of that code of who you are and what you're supposed to be is actually locked up in this other thing called desire. What is it that you want to be? What do you want to create? Who do you want to help? That's your design. That is the beginning of what I believe can be a profession. Now, when you're a professional, I think that I've met very few professionals in my life. And I think that after you hear my definition, you will say, I think maybe I have too. And maybe some of the people I thought were professionals, maybe they weren't. Maybe the people I didn't think were professionals, maybe they are. But what's a professional? A professional is someone, well, let's break it down. It comes from the word profess. That word is found in other words like professor. So what's a professor, right? Someone who knows a lot. Think about a professor. Think about a professor is someone who professes. So what are the things that you might profess? Most people might profess their love for another, right? It's love we profess that. What else do you profess? You might profess your faith. You might make a profession of belief. Now think about that. So love, faith, belief, we're going to take that and we're going to mesh it into this whole thing of this knowledge thing that a professor might have. And now we're going to bring it into a professional. And I believe this. I believe a professional is someone who does with their actions what they believe in their heart. So if you're doing what you're believing, you are a professional. If you're just doing what you're good at, you are, I don't know what that is, right? Maybe you have an occupation, but that's not a professional. If you're just doing what people will pay you for, right? Now you are, you're for hire, right? You're a mercenary. A professional does the things that he believes. A professional does that for the people that he loves. A professional, right? There's something different. There's something different. And I believe we can look into our design and find out like, well, what am I supposed to be? Well, okay, part of it is it's in your design. It's in your design. What are you naturally good at? Are you good at speaking? Are you good at doing videos? The jury's still out as to whether I am or not. Are you good at numbers? Are you good at engineering? Are you good with plants? Are you good? What are you good at? And what have you loved ever since you were a wee little baby? Maybe a little kid. What have you always loved? For me, I just remember just communicating. I loved humor. I loved listening. I loved understanding. I loved being kind. So what's in that? The other part of it is like we get into the nurture part where maybe you were programmed a little bit by mom or dad or church or pastors or school or mentors or business or what were you shaped by? These are the things that they probably required you to go gain some skills. So in order to have attention, I had to be smart because my dad loved it when I showed up smart. So that's a part of my design. I love being clever. My mom only... She rewarded when people were nice. She loved the nice guy, the nice kid. So, I went out of my way to be nice. And so I learned these things. I learned these as skills. I learned these as ways to go gain attention. And that became a part of my chosen design. Now I can unchoose from some of that, by the way, and maybe choose to be, someone who goes into conflict a little bit more. Maybe someone who chooses to be detail oriented. Like I can choose other values. Those aren't as natural to me. What are the values that come natural to you? Combine that with your design. And then finally, add that to your vision. Like, what is it you want? What do you want? And now we have the beginnings of what I believe a profession. Okay. When we do that over a long period of time, you are a professional. When we can step up to the plate to something that doesn't require us to hit a home run, that we don't have to force ourselves, it has to be perfect or I'm out. That's not a profession. All right. That's a tryout on American Idol. That's not a profession. So here I am talking with this guy and an amazing salesperson. And here he is saying, I know I should be doing this. And so here he is. And by the way, should be's are very similar to the idea of supposed to be, so should be, supposed to. Don't should all over yourselves. Stop shooting on yourself, right? What do you want to be? What do you want to be? And my question to him was, what do you want? And he says, well, I want this. I'm like, well, then that's a different person than what you're showing me right now. And either you need to become another person and fall in love with becoming this other person, or maybe just fall in love with what you have. Maybe reject the progression that's given to you by others. Oh, you're a great salesperson. Now you have to go become a great leader. Maybe you have the right to choose your own path. And is that what you really want? And here, the funny thing is, I'd listen to him telling these stories of glory, of sales he had closed or walked out on, in his life past. And it's like, he loved that. He relished that. And in terms of, maybe caring and bringing other people along, maybe he felt like he should love that, but he didn't. And so I would say, why? Why do we have to follow what someone else says as the next progression? It's optional. Everything is optional. See, if we get down to the crux of it, I believe this. I believe that all of us are gifted by God with something. We're all gifted by God with something. The design is that we take that and we combine our gift with our belief, and we take it and we go serve the people that we love. And when we do that, it's like it's magic, right? It's win-win-win. Everyone, you feel good doing it. Other people feel good receiving it. There's a money exchange and everyone is happy. What I find, oddly, is that most of us we take this thing that we're great at, and rather than becoming the artist or the professional with it, we'll hide it. We tuck it away. We've been taught in America that if something is not difficult, that we're somehow less than other people who fought for what they have. So you see it in the entrepreneur stories all around, all these people that we love, the hustle and the grind. And there's this mythology that I believe eats away at what you and I were designed for. And same guy, just kind of a fun story to tell. I asked him if he liked Rocky. And he's like, yes. I said, do you like Rocky 2? He said, yes. Rocky 3? Yes. Rocky 4? Yes. Rocky 5. We go through all the Rockies. I don't know how many there are. He didn't understand what I was asking, which is basically it's kind of the same movie over and over and over again. And that movie had a hero that barely won every single time, that won by hard work and by being tougher. And I don't think it was a small coincidence that he sees himself as someone who wins through hard work. He works 7 days a week, and by being tougher than other people around. That made him feel better and superior. But the thing about a Rocky movie is if you've seen one, you kind of seen them all. It's the same story, right? You show up for a fight that you shouldn't win, and at the very last moment, you pull it off, and somehow you win. You Adrian, right? Rocky 4 was actually the best one. We all know that, other than Rocky 1. But the question is, though, is why are we bowing down to someone else's story of what they say it should be, and why aren't we taking a little bit more time and saying, this is what I want? And I'm not going to repeat your story or their story or this person's story. I'm not going to give into mythology. I'm going to actually listen to my design, think about what I want, and from that, actually step into it. That is a place of power. That is a place of professionalism. Because I believe this, you become an unstoppable force if you can get all of these things, but the more of these things you have, the better. If you love what you do, if you love who you do it for, if you love how you get to do it, and if you love who you are being while you're doing it, those 4 things make you an unstoppable force. If you're doing this, you're living from profession. You are a professional. Question the narrative. Let's stop living towards and from mythology, and let's look at our God-given gifts and talents and use our assets, for crying out loud, instead of trying to always go improve our liabilities. Take it from me. It's It's what I do for a living. I coach people to produce from purpose. If any of this rings your bell, get a hold of me, message me. I want to talk with you. You're my people. I'm not saying we need to work together professionally, but just if we're connected brain, with the same the same verbiage in the brain here, let's talk. Let's talk. I want to be someone in your corner, and I need fans like you in mine, and who knows, maybe we should work together. Either way, we definitely are on the same path. Thanks for hanging, and we'll see you on the journey.